Hey there, welcome. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Let's go. What a fun debate that was last night, because now the discussion that you and I have been having is now being had by people who are pretending like everything was okay. And the question is, will Biden be replaced? Will he be the candidate? Well, the follow-up to that is, well, if he's not going to be the candidate, then who is? Well, next in line should be Kamala Harris. So now joining us is the blonde Kamala Harris. Welcome back to the James Show. I bet you're pretty excited about last night's debate because this increases your chances of being the presidential nominee.
Well, listen, first and foremost, I want to say that we are very proud of Joe's performance last night. So, what people saw in comparison to what we saw and what we know are two very different things. And Joe won last night. Okay.
Oh my God. I forgot how much I hate you. Oh God. Okay. So, Kamala, has anyone approached you about being the candidate?
Well, here's the thing. Okay. What we saw last night was a clear contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And sure, it was a slow start, but it was a strong finish, right? And I'm not even looking at last night's performance. I'm looking at his overall performance in office during our time. And I firmly believe that Joe and I will continue to bring the level of service and commitment that we have done and will continue to do going forward.
All right.
Okay?
All right, Kamala, I asked if anyone had approached you about being on the top of the ticket. You weren't anywhere near an answer. Has anyone from the Democrat Party proper asked you about being a candidate?
Well, listen, these are conversations, okay, that may potentially possibly be had at some point should it become necessary. And, we're not going to be spending any of our time rewatching over and over again that debate last night. And we're not going to be talking about the perceived appearance of Joe's frailty and inability to answer questions and his overall cognitive abilities. We're not going to be talking about those. So, we are planning on going forward in the way that we have been going forward until plans should change. Okay?
All right, let me ask the judges. Was that Kamala speak for a yes? I think that was a yes. Was that? Okay, the judges score that as a yes, that whole paragraph. It was just a 3-letter word. Next question is, if you do run, if Kamala Harris happens to be the Democrat nominee, do you have a VP already in mind? Who would you choose as your running mate?
Well, I think that is a really good question. Okay. And, so first, look, in my opinion, as we move forward and really, at the end of the day, we need to unpack what's really at top of mind here. Now, with that being said, and to your point, let me be clear. I'm all about being transparent, unlike Donald Trump, who we don't know who he's going to be choosing. So, at the end of the day, that's what we need to be discussing, right?
It feels like if you have like a donkey with the halter and a lead rope on and you're trying to get him to follow you, but it's staying put no matter how hard you pull, like this donkey's not moving. This is what it's like talking to you, blonde Kamala. I don't know if you understand how frustrating you are. Yeah, that wasn't a compliment. All right. Hey, I got an idea. You're going to be the candidate for the Democrats. We'll kick Joe Biden off. And I have a new campaign slogan for you. It'll be, she's not demented. How about that?
Well, listen, that is a pretty good one right there. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's what we're going to go with, right?
Yes, we can cackle. That might be another good one because you got that one down. All right, coming up, we're going to talk to the lady behind Blonde Kamala. Of course, that was not the real Kamala Harris. Of course, it's just a brilliant comedian who has just really mastered it. And we're going to talk to Elsa Kurt because she also does the serious side of political review. And we'll talk to her next. Elsa Kurt when we continue on The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Thank you to all the people who played bingo with the debate last night. Thank you for all the people who got the bingo cards from The James Show. Thank you very much to all the people who sent pictures of you playing bingo back. I noticed a common theme is that this was done with couples. Married couples were playing together a lot. And you want to hang out at Tom's house because in the background of the picture was like 18 different bottles of bourbon. And me and Tom might have to be new best friends. Our continuing guest is Elsa Kurt. She was Blonde Kamala in the last segment. Elsa Kurt in this segment. I want you to know the lady behind the voice. And really, you do the voice so good. You sound so much like her. Anything you say is funny.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't, I never know whether to laugh at it all or just, gouge my ears out because I hear myself and it's painful for me.
Oh, man, if I was really a host who had a guest like that on the show, I would react in the same way. Like, I can't stand talking to you. You have to get off my show.
Yeah. I have to cover my mouthpiece here on the phone because I'm trying not to laugh, in my real voice when you're responding to quote unquote her.
So you have some strong opinions. You're not just a comedian. You're also a commenter who also does a very good impression of Kamala Harris. What was your thoughts on last night's debate?
Oh, boy. So crazy. So I was actually, this is pretty funny. I was at a Brooks and Dunn concert last night in Saratoga Springs, and it was an awesome show. Side note, they were amazing.
Oh, that's why you canceled with me yesterday. You're on your way to a Brooks and Dunn concert?
I was, it's all about Brooks and Dunn, man.
Sweet.
You got to do what you got to do. This might be the last one with them, so who knows? But yeah, so I was that loser sitting there and checking my phone every 2 minutes to see what was going on. And, at some point I finally put it aside. And as soon as we got back to the hotel, I opened up the phone and we just sat there watching kind of like the recap and the CNN panel after who, the minute we turned the TV on, we could see that they were just near tears. And that told us everything, we needed to know. Like they all looked like they were about to cry. And I mean, I can't even get any glee out of this because it's so sad. It is so horrendous. And believe me, I have no love or no sympathy or compassion for Joe Biden. But just as a human being, that basic human compassion that you're compelled to have for another human being. This is such elder abuse. Jill should be, whatever you could throw at her for elder abuse, it should be done because this was appalling. I don't even think Donald Trump enjoyed any of that. I think he was incredibly compassionate throughout that because there was just so much there he could have gone with.
Right. And it's no fun playing the JV team. I mean, you want to win,
right,
but you don't want to win like that. Do you think he will be replaced?
I mean, how can they not? I mean, I tend to think that their goal was to keep him in and just do the switcheroo after. Like they just wanted to push him through. But, this was just apparent to the whole world now, not just half of it. That this guy he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. So I think they are going to have to replace him. And, my concern and my question is that, I think these are terrible people, but I don't think they're stupid people. So I have a really hard time believing that they've been really sitting here saying, no, Joe's fine. We actually believe that he's totally fine. And I'm talking about, mainstream media and, of course, the Democrats. You cannot convince me that these people did not already know the state of this man. This has all been, a charade
and they're just
public.
Admitting it because they can't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We
hit the point.
I think most of America, or half of America, knew that already. The other half is kind of finding out through their social media feed today through various clips. But the big question becomes, okay, if you replace him, with whom?
Yeah, that's a heck of a question, man, because Kamala just does not have the popularity vote. I mean, she is despised within her own party.
Well, I find is she really that despised? What has she done wrong? She's been vice president. She doesn't even have to do anything. How does she have such negatives?
Yeah, I think it's her inability to formulate a sentence that does not sound like a salad. I think that's a huge part of it. She has a very low likability factor. People just simply don't like her. And, I mean,
she has an authenticity issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
She comes across as inauthentic, and she does not, the tasks that she's been given. Border czar, for the biggest example. And then they're giving her silly things like AI czar, and I'm forgetting what the other one was. There was another silly one. They're just throwing silly titles at her that she's done nothing with, and she hasn't done anything to prove herself. So, but I think, unless they've got some trick up their sleeve of who they want to replace. I know Michelle Obama gets tossed out there constantly.
I don't think she wants it.
No, supposedly she's been saying, flat out, nope, not interested. But we shall see. I've got my popcorn ready. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen, like everybody else.
Here's a good measure of how bad Biden did in the debate last night. The top story on CNN, the headline says, takeaway from the Supreme Court's January 6th decision. They have moved on. Now, it's the second story on CNN, but it's not the top. So look, they have to. It's nice to see them finally admit it. I don't expect to get an apology for all the times they've lied and told you he's sharp as a tack. But how much of the American public do you think is really aware of what happened last night? Because, I mean, even if the ratings were fantastic, 13 million, 20 million people may have watched it. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know what the ratings are. That's still less than 10% of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what's more alarming to me is that there are people who did watch it and are still saying, I'd still vote for Biden over Trump. And that's frightening. And they won't, they're doing it because they hate Trump, not because they think Biden is capable by any means. They see that he's not capable. They understand that this is completely up in the air of what's actually going to happen. And they still say, don't care, still better than Trump. Those are the people that I find the most disturbing. And they exist. I see them in my comment sections,
Well, so I went ahead and looked up the numbers real quick since I was talking out of the side of my neck for a second. Correct the record. About 48 million people. They say CNN's reported number is 47.9 million people. So 48 million people watched the debate last night. So that's right at 15% of the country. The other 85% are probably going to pick up some of this news from, today or just looking at memes on Facebook and X. But when you look at how that compares to the previous election cycle, and the two debates in 2020, 73 million viewers, 63 million viewers. So it's way down. The interest is way down. What's up with that?
Yeah, you know what? That actually surprises the heck out of me. I would have, if you had told me to guess, I would have guessed that the viewership would have been way higher, and simply because of people want to watch the circus. I was trying to think of another word to use other than the one I wanted to. The circus, the dumpster fire of what that was going to. I managed to come up with two. The dumpster fire that was, likely to be Biden's performance. And of course, people wanted to watch and see if Trump would go off the rails and, go off the cuff like he likes to do at times. And, I simply would have thought more would have been watching that. So that's strange to me, actually.
Right. But just to perfect your metaphor, if you took a whole circus tent, you hit it with a shrink ray and you could fit it in a dumpster, and then you set the circus in the dumpster on fire, I think would be a more accurate description of what you saw. Tell the people listening what you do outside of just being the blonde Kamala, because, you get a ton of YouTube hits and everything like that. But tell them about the Elsa Kurt side.
Sure, absolutely. So, I started everything as an author. I'm an author of somewhere around 25 books. Some of them are in revision right now to be re-released. And I have the Elsa Kurt Show, which is a little podcast with my buddy Clay Novak. And we talk about, social political commentary. And he's the straight man. I'm the goofball. What a surprise. Nobody would expect that, right? But yeah, everything. I'm on, of course, all the social media platforms, Elsa Kurt Official, and elsakurt.com is probably like the fastest, easiest way to find everything. But yeah, I just have a good old time trying to make light and make fun of things that really want to make us scream and cry and pull our hair out. So I try and offer a little comedic relief along with some information.
Thanks for coming on the James Show again. I really appreciate it, Elsa. Big fan.
Thank you.
It's the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.